Rising above the horizon of Washington State, Mount Rainier is more than just a mountain. It's a sacred sentinel, a glacier-crowned giant, and the heart of one of America's oldest national parks. This is Mount Rainier National Park, a place where natural wonder, human history, and cultural heritage converge. Established on March 2, 1899, it was the 5th national park in the United States and the very first in the Pacific Northwest. But long before it was part of the national park system, before it was named Rainier by British explorer George Vancouver in 1792, this mountain had another name, Tahoma, or Tacoma. The indigenous people of the region, including the Puyallup, Nisqually, Muckleshoot, Cowlitz, and Yakima tribes, had revered this snow-covered peak for thousands of years. To them, it was more than a mountain. It was the mother of waters, a source of life, a sacred place of power and purpose. Seasonally, native peoples came to Tahoma's foothills to hunt deer, elk, gathered blackberries, huckleberries, and harvest medicinal plants. Well-worn trails connected the mountain to a network of trade routes where salmon, obsidian, and mountain goat wool were exchanged. Spiritual traditions like vision quests take place here, but the summit was typically avoided. To climb so high was to intrude upon a place meant for the spirits. That balance was disrupted in the 1850s when treaties like the Treaty of Medicine Creek stripped indigenous nations of their ancestral lands. The U.S. government established reservations, and native peoples were forcibly excluded from the very lands they had honored and protected for generations. When Mount Rainier became a national park in 1899, indigenous access to the mountain was officially denied. Sacred grounds were closed, traditional plant gathering was outlawed, and the park became a symbol of both preservation and displacement. Yet the memory of Tahoma persists. Today, tribal voices continue to advocate for recognition, stewardship, and inclusion within the park's ongoing story. At the heart of that story is the mountain itself, Mount Rainier, a towering 14,411-foot stratovolcano, sculpted over 500,000 years of eruptions, ice, and time. The iconic cone we see today likely formed within the last 11,000 years, a relatively young peak in geological terms. Rainier's slopes are draped in white, home to 25 named glaciers, the most on any peak in the United States. These glaciers have long attracted scientists and researchers, making Mount Rainier a critical site for glaciology and climate change studies. But the beauty of these glaciers belies a hidden danger. Rainier is classified as an active volcano, and while it hasn't erupted in over 1,000 years, it poses a significant risk. The mountain's icy flanks make it vulnerable to lahars, massive volcanic mudflows that can race down valleys at terrifying speed. The towns of Ording, Sumner, and Puyallup sit in their potential path. Still, it is not fear but fascination that draws people here. In 1870, two climbers, Hazard Stevens and Philemon Van Tromp, made the first documented ascent to the summit. Guided by native knowledge, they battled glaciers, altitude sickness, and a 6-day climb to reach the crater at the top. Their dramatic tale was widely published and sparked a growing curiosity across the country. Just 20 years later, in 1890, Fay Fuller, a bold journalist and schoolteacher from Tacoma, became the first woman to reach the summit. Wearing heavy skirts and high boots, she endured freezing nights and treacherous ice. Her published accounts shattered gender norms and inspired a new generation of adventurers. To accommodate growing tourism, infrastructure was needed, and so in the 1930s, the Civilian Conservation Corps, part of President Roosevelt's New Deal, was sent to Rainier. These young men carved trails, built roads, and constructed the rustic lodges and stone buildings still in use today. Their craftsmanship and commitment remain a living legacy throughout the park. Even earlier in 1917, one of the park's most beloved landmarks opened its doors, Paradise Inn. Perched on the southern slope of the mountain, the inn quickly became a favorite among visitors who marveled at its timbered great hall and mountain views. A National Historic Landmark, it's one of the oldest operating lodges in the entire park system, and Mount Rainier has always been a trailblazer. It was among the first national parks to allow private automobiles, ushering in the golden age of American road trips. Long before Route 66 became a cultural icon, travelers were winding up Rainier's mountain roads, windows down, eyes wide. But for all its human history, its climbers, roads, lodges, and legends, it is the natural world that defines Mount Rainier. The park stretches across over 230,000 acres, teeming with wildflower meadows, old-growth forests, alpine lakes, and roaring rivers. It's home to black bears, marmots, elk, and the elusive mountain goat, whose thick white coats blend into the glaciered cliffs. Every summer, the meadows at Paradise and Sunrise erupt into a sea of color, with purple lupine and red paintbrush, a phenomenon John Muir once described as the most luxuriant and the most extravagantly beautiful of all the alpine gardens I ever beheld in all my mountaintop wanderings. Visitors today come for many reasons: to hike, to camp, to climb, to simply stand and marvel. But no matter the path taken, they are walking in the footsteps of countless others, from the tribes who honored the mountain as sacred, to the pioneers who fought to protect it, to the workers who built its trails by hand. Mount Rainier is not just a national park. It is a monument to resilience, both natural and cultural. It stands as a towering reminder of the forces that shape us: time, ice, fire, and memory. So whether you call it Rainier, Tahoma, or Tacoma, whether you come for a day or a lifetime, this mountain has a way of staying with you. It humbles, it inspires, and it reminds us of our place within something far greater than ourselves.